Bears Fan Podcast, episode 74. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for all the comments as of late. We've had a lot of activity in the comment section. Why hasn't Caleb signed yet? Why are the Bears not doing anything? Are we going to get David Bakhtiari for whatever reason? It says we're the betting favorite for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
I don't understand that, but it's not just Caleb that's unsigned. That's Romad Dun as
As
well.
well,
Both
yeah.
first round picks have not been signed, which is, training camp's coming up in a couple weeks here. It's about time
That's usually when
to
they
sign
sign,
those
yeah.
contracts. And if you were one of those people that used a bot to scoop up all of the free training camp tickets so you can turn around and resell them, you're a fucking asshole. Um, there's all those tickets went out like that. Uh, a lot of people want to take their kids and shit like that, but they saw a money making opportunity. I guess I can't blame the hustle, but at the same time, you're kind of a douche if you were one of those people that did that. And
Yeah, especially for training camp. That they can't make I don't know what they're supposed to do. It's tough, I guess. But yeah, I saw that everyone was kind of pissed off. They said the tickets sold out instantly. Same thing. I tried last year. This year I didn't even waste my time. Kind of sucks. I remember when I was a kid, we went a couple times. We just go down to Bourbonnais. I don't know. I know it didn't cost anything because my mom was a cheap ass. So um, maybe they should try and get back to that. But I guess I never miss an opportunity to make a few bucks, even though I thought it came out, even though they lost that lawsuit with DirecTV or the Sunday Ticket, it said every team made like 450 million just in like the NFL revenue split, like not counting like your attendance or concessions or your own personal deals. So seems like
well,
I
we
don't know.
talked about it. We talked about it in one of these past episodes where the NFL needs to start giving back to the average fan. Um, and they're not doing that. I think it was when we talked about the DirecTV lawsuit in the first place. It just seemed, I don't know. It's I don't know what to think. I mean, the Family Fun Fest comes up. I think it's the first week of August. But with them having the Hall of Fame game, I don't even know if they're when they're gonna have it this year. Um, those are free tickets as well,
Same
so
thing.
probably the same thing will happen. And it's a shame. We talked about taking our families possibly, and we weren't even able to realistically come close to
Get
it.
a
Probably
fair chance
be
at
able
getting it.
to. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but um, you know, uh, these teams that are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, I understand it's a business, but the average football fan, like the last time I personally went to a Bears game, granted, I've had the opportunity in terms of money to buy my own ticket, but getting in and out of Soldier Field is a fucking nightmare. I'd much rather not deal with that. But to the average NFL fan, I mean, you getting people reselling tickets, especially in 2005, 2006 Super Bowl run, everything else like that with those good teams. You try to go to a Packers game and you're looking at $1,000 a ticket. You're at regular average home games, not sitting in the nosebleeds, you're still looking at 350. So it's very tough to go if you're trying to bring your child to, what I'm saying, his first football game. If you're a single person like we were in our early 20s, it's different. I mean, fuck, how many games, Bulls games, Sox games,
I
shit
mean,
like
even
that.
then, it was just more affordable. Now,
You
like
know
you
what I'm
said,
saying? It's
thousand
just
bucks. It's like for any reasonable adult, middle class, lower middle class adult, like that's just not feasible to go do. Just not smart to be like, oh, I'm gonna
uh,
go spend $1,000, me and one other person go spend $1,000 to go to the Bears game on Sunday. Like you said, it's a hell of a getting in and out. The older we get, where I'm not much of the get drunk type, and like just to be out for the atmosphere anyway. So it's like, why wouldn't I just watch the game at home? I could pause it, I could do whatever the hell I want. Um, but yes, it's just I don't going to sporting events just doesn't seem like a middle class event anymore. It's turned into like a rich people thing instead. Maybe I guess the Sox game might be cheap enough for you to, not break the bank and go, but
nah, you could
Blackhawks
go
game
for like a
makes it.
bag of peanuts now.
Yeah, but like
Sox
a
game.
Bears game, like it's gonna cost you unless you're sitting in the fucking nosebleeds. And it's like at that point, why wouldn't you watch from home? Looking at, for one person, $500. I mean, ticket, parking, food, I mean, something from the souvenir shop. You're talking about $500 a person, and 6-7 hours of your life. So I don't. They do need to do something. It was good they got sued because they were chipping us on the Sunday ticket. They were always. It's just weird. Like, oh, we're only gonna have it on DirecTV when it's like DirecTV was like the second or third most used. You know what I mean? Network. Like, not even everybody had DirecTV.
No, not even close.
But unfortunately, will be. I think each team had to pay. Is going to have to pay like 2 or 3 million a piece into the pot.
Uh, it's like 200 million a piece.
Or okay, 200. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll probably have to feel that. But to the Bears, like I said, Rome, Caleb didn't sign. It's kind of concerning. Hopefully, we'll get something going on. Um, I don't. There's really no scenario where he doesn't sign. So and nothing's come out
Yeah,
that he doesn't like that deal. I don't know if maybe they're still just trying to. I'm guessing they're trying to get some new wording where he's got like some kind of incentive. I don't know if incentive's a word, but just some kind of new age rookie deal that's different than the way they've been doing it before. So we'll see. Um,
both of them too. So I mean, we can't really sit here and say,
it's
you know,
Caleb or
Caleb. You know what I'm saying? That's both of them, and they're not the only first round rookies that haven't signed. There's three more, I think, that haven't signed,
I
as
think
well around the league. But
I looked. I'm pretty sure it said the last few number one quarterbacks didn't sign till like July 22nd or some shit like that.
yeah, so
So
I'm not overly concerned. You had mentioned, making a move possibly. You asked the question. You brought up David Bakhtiari. I think that's not. I just don't see that happening. I
I
see
don't
more
either. I
Connor
just saw the betting
Williams.
odds.
Yeah, I see more Connor Williams. And I don't know. I'm hearing a lot more Yannick Ngakoue coming back
That
talk.
yeah, that makes the most sense. We have the second highest betting odds to get Stephen Gilmore, which again I don't really makes much sense. We're pretty good at corner. He's a veteran. I think all he does is kind of mess up our rotation. But we have just like the second highest odds to get him. I don't know where they get their info from, how they do that. I just thought that was interesting. The Bakhtiari thing jumped out to me because like we just don't need a tackle. I don't know unless they're thinking about kicking Braxton Jones down to left guard. I've always said something like that. But in my head it's like do that and then just put that kid you just drafted in. I
Dude,
don't.
that kid is a monster.
And Bakhtiari hasn't played in like 2 years. I mean, I doubt he's going to be a world beater. So,
I mean, if
uh,
you could bring him in, and here's the thing, you don't want to lowball a guy,
yeah,
like that. But if you could bring him in at a reasonable contract, you can kick tires on it, sure. I mean, let's be honest, different quarterback. We're hoping and we're seeing on tape that he does get the ball out quicker, everything else like that. He's not going to run into sacks as much, create his own pressure. But we do need, and like you've been talking about it nonstop about how offensive line is just, it's a lot about just fit, culture, chemistry. The longer an offensive line plays together, the better they get. You can't keep bringing in new guys from different teams and off the street to just, you know what I'm saying, start here, start there. So continue, what's that word that I'm looking for? Just continuous offensive linemen starting the same five. That's what we need. We don't
continuity.
need yeah, continuity. We don't need. I do like the Connor Williams deal if we're able to get him because he is a Pro Bowl center. He is coming off an ACL injury, and those can be tough, especially for offensive linemen, just because they're bigger bodied individuals. They're not necessarily as athletic in terms of athletic freaks, like the running backs and wide receivers and everything else like that. But so it's a little harder for them to come back from a knee injury. I mean, I'm sure you're not 100% from your knee injury in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those things that lingers
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So we'll see. I mean, he's still a young kid. He's 20, what, 27, 28 years old, something like that. So he's not even 30 yet. So it's a possibility he can come back from this and be better, just as good as he was. Yannick Ngakoue released a workout video on Instagram. He looks absolutely fucking ripped.
He played pretty good last year too. Like I said, I was
Yeah, I mean,
upset
it
with a
wasn't
few
horrible.
missed sacks, but he's a good
Yeah,
situational pass rusher. he's gonna
Absolutely.
get
You
8 to
need
10.
something. So we're talking about, like the Stephon Gilmore thing, how, bringing him in might not be the best because it's going to hurt the development of somebody like Tyreek Stevenson. Kyler Gordon's your nickel. You're not worried about him, but bringing in Stephon Gilmore is going to take time away from Tyreek Stevenson. That's going to will that hurt his development? Probably.
Yeah.
But also
Lewis was
having
good too.
somebody like Stephon Gilmore might help.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a catch-22 situation like that. You're going to take away playing time from Tyreek Stevenson. However, having an all-pro former defensive player of the year on your roster for the young guys is you can't ask for better mentorship. And I think,
Yeah.
Yannick doing that for Austin Booker, obviously Ngakoue is not as he's not as decorated as Stephon Gilmore is as a player, but he is a veteran. He has been around, a few teams in the league. He knows what he's doing. So bringing in him, to do that is probably going to be beneficial for Austin Booker in the long run because there's a lot of untapped potential on this team that we have seen. A lot of athletic freaks. Ryan Poles surely has a type. I saw the excitement. He was talking to his high school coach or something like that, and they released a video. The offensive lineman that they drafted that we were just talking about. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name,
No.
but he just you can tell the kid loves football. You know what I'm saying? Like that's his life. And seeing that kind of thing, just that regardless if he's an A+ tier player, he will literally give everything he has to that team, and that you'd love to see that. And
Yeah.
you can you can see it.
Especially in linemen. Speaking of linemen too, do you think this will be Teven Jenkins' last season on the Bears?
If he plays less than 10 games, yes.
Yeah, I think it's probably in my head. I'm thinking like 12, and like really good, same like all pro caliber, Pro Bowl
I don't
guaranteed.
even think all pro, but what are the standard contracts now
A
for
lot,
like
like 20 million a year for a guard now. Like
no, but like I'm talking like the fuck dude. I'm having such a brain fart right now. But incentive wise, what's normally like isn't it like 70%? So let's just say he plays 70% of the games. If he
yeah,
plays less than 70% of the games, then yes, this will be his last year.
yeah. That's why I said it's like because 10 would be like 60%.
Yeah, I would say
So
70%
yeah, I'm
ish.
thinking like 12. I was just like I said, those contracts are getting a lot bigger now. They're definitely not going to tag him because that would be, for a
That would be
guard. You're not
insane.
getting tagged as a guard unless you're like that guy.
No,
And
you got to be a Hall of Famer at that
yeah.
point for that.
So I don't. I was just thinking, and it crossed my mind today, and I wrote it down. It's just like I don't. I just feel like if he was going to be here, they would have signed him. He would be signed already by now, like Komet on like a team friendly deal. And but the way it's looking like, and like he let Roquan leave.
Was he a first round pick, Teven Jenkins?
Yes.
So he's got a 5th year option.
Yeah. They're not picking that up. I don't know. The 5th year option is just like a tag. It's like
Yeah, but
a little
at the
bit cheaper.
yeah,
It's a
it
little
gives
bit
you an
cheaper.
opportunity to negotiate those. So
Yeah.
I don't think
They
if he
might pick
plays,
up his 5th year option and then move
yeah,
him.
they
Yeah.
might pick up his 5th year option. But either way, he's still got to. I mean, if he plays less than 70%, then they won't. You
No,
know what I'm
there'd be
saying?
no
He's
point.
got
Yeah.
he's got to play 70% of his snaps. There's just, you know what I'm saying? You got to have that continuity like you were talking about on that offensive line. You have to be available.
Yeah.
You
You
have to
can't
be able
pay
to
a
play.
guard who's not available. Like,
Now, Nate Davis, on the other hand,
oh god.
I think he's
There's
done.
no way. Yeah.
If
I
he
wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't like on week 1 he's not on the team.
yeah,
Down everybody seems.
he's got to perform. Come training camp, there's no excuses. He doesn't have personal issues going on that we know about this year. You know what I'm saying? It's time to show up to camp in shape, work your ass off. Let's see what we signed you for, what was it, 9 million, $10 million a year for. And if he just shows complacentness and laziness, then yeah, week 1, I don't even think he makes it through preseason. We have a little bit of depth on the offensive line, which is why I think that David Bakhtiari thing kind of kicks in along with the Connor Williams rumors of, if Nate Davis is the one guy on the chopping block, essentially, that's like the one guy we know for sure may or may not be here come week one,
Yeah,
because everybody else is pretty much, they traded for Ryan Bates. You don't trade for somebody and then cut them. You
mm.
know what I'm saying? And then they signed the guy from, the Rams last year. And they
Darnell
signed him to a
Wright's
pretty
not.
good
Yeah,
deal. Yeah,
and
Darnell
it's
Wright's not going anywhere. Braxton Jones isn't
not
going
really.
anywhere.
That's why backyard doesn't make sense because he doesn't even have any versatility in what he can play. He's basically only going to be able to play Braxton Jones' spot. At least Connor Williams, he could play both guard spots in the center. So if it doesn't pan out,
Now,
he'll
and then that's does Bakhtiari want to start? Does he
yeah.
is he
I
okay
mean,
with playing? Is he okay with playing a mentor role
no,
to
I doubt
Braxton
it.
Jones?
I'm shocked he's not on the Jets right now. He must want some money
Uh,
because if he was willing to take a deal, I don't see why he's not on the Jets blocking for Aaron Rodgers. They're like bust buds too. Like
don't they have two pretty good bookend tackles though? I
I
think
don't
it's
know
the
if bookend's a
interior.
word. I
I
know they
think the
got
I think the interior
they
offensive line's
drafted somebody
bad.
young not pretty long ago. I don't think they got anybody that one of those guys Bakhtiari could replace. If I'm
Fair
thinking
enough.
right, but almost time. Like I said, training camp's coming up. We won't be able to go. Probably none of our viewers will be able to go because we're not smart enough to create a bot to buy the tickets. Hopefully they will find a way to fix that. I don't know, as it would be a raffle. Um, I don't know, like maybe a
Email list,
membership.
man.
Yeah, email
Email
list.
list.
Like
Yeah,
I don't know
like
if you make like a month before, just send out like a raffle for people who are, what I mean, single. I don't know because
or
even
like the
then the
draft,
bots will
the way
just
they
make.
do the way they do the draft tickets.
Oh
You
yeah,
know
I
what I'm
guess
saying? Like
yeah.
I don't understand how, yeah, I like I said, I get it. I respect the hustle. I do. So
I
you
know.
gotta make money. You know what I'm saying?
I know, because there's other ways to make money. And I'm
I
not
get
saying
it.
don't sell the tickets. I'm just saying like find a way to do it to where they all don't end up in the resale market.
Well, what I'm saying is the price gouging itself. Like if you want to resell the tickets, at least make them somewhat affordable. Don't be a douche and sell them for like 150, $200 for a free fucking event. That's just being a complete asshole. Like, you're getting what? Let's just say you got like 5 tickets, 6 tickets or whatever for training
I mean,
camp.
if you got a bot, they probably got 100.
Sell them $50 a piece. That's still 5 grand in your pocket that you just made for nothing. Like,
Chicago's got some rich fans, so I'm guessing people will probably pay 100 a ticket. And it's like people are greedy. I mean, our past. I mean, so I have a hard. I try not to. I try not to be too critical of somebody doing something that's. I mean, technically above board. I guess I would like to think that I might be this angel person, but I don't know. If somebody was like, "Here's 1,000 Bears training camp tickets," I'd at least post them for a lot of money. I don't know. I'd probably give a few away, but I like I said, I think the Bears as an organization should take it out of people's hands and let it
I
be for
agree.
the
I
people. So
I
it's like
agree.
because that's just how it's going to be. I'm not saying they got to give the tickets away. Maybe they don't even make it free. Make them $20, $50. Like I don't think it's a big deal if they charge 20 to $50 for a training camp ticket. I think
I
that's
don't think
fair.
so either.
You know what I
I
mean?
think that's feasible. I think
Yeah,
that's
you know what I
very
mean? Put
reasonable.
some drinks out there or something. I don't know, but I think that's fair. I think I would happily pay that to go to training camp. I remember when I was a kid and we went, like, thinking in my head, 20, $50 would have been well worth, you know what I mean? Urlacher coming out and signing stuff and, you know, you seeing the guys up close. Um, but yeah, it's almost time. Hopefully we get some good footage from training camp at least. Hopefully it goes well because I'm really excited.
Speaking of that, I'm excited for that too. I can't fucking wait. Um, I've seen a lot of talk on X lately about like because the New York Giants are doing the and Hard Knocks. Um, I personally have not watched the interview yet, but apparently there was footage of the New York Giants front office interviewing Romad Dun, and there's a lot of people that are just like, how do you not pick Romad Dun if you're the Giants after that interview? I've yet to watch it. Have you seen it yet? I
No, I
wanted
didn't
to
see
ask.
that. I saw that like the weird trade shit they were talking about. No, I didn't see. I don't know. Malik
I
Neighbors is
want to.
really good though. Like, I
He
mean,
is. I want to ask. I want to ask the viewers. If
did
anybody's
they show
watched that.
Neighbors
I don't know
interview?
if they did or
Yeah,
not. I want to. I
he
want to
seems
ask
like a
the.
prick. I'll be honest. Like I just saw.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of them usually are. But I
and I
want to ask
saw
the
him.
viewers too, if you
Yeah,
watched it, like let us know in the comments, like
yeah,
what's so special about this interview. I mean, I'm gonna watch it eventually, but it's kind of like a good talking point. Let's get some interaction
yeah.
going because we
I don't
want
know.
to
Those are
start
tough.
taking.
Have you seen a bad one? Like, now I know you haven't seen Rome's, but like, anytime the rookies get on the mic, has any one of them sounded like a fucking idiot? Like,
Some of
they've
them,
all. I don't
some
know.
of
I think they all just are smart now. They all got PR teams. They all practice. They probably got paid some chick couple grand to prep them for these interviews, what to say. So, but I'm happy we ended up with Rome. But I don't. I thought it was pretty obvious that Neighbors was better than Rome Tuesday. I don't know if that it'll be hard to judge it just because Rome's going to be wide receiver number 3 and Malik Neighbors is going to be wide receiver 1. So,
yeah,
um,
and you also got to take into consideration that the Bears offense might be a little bit more open. And the Giants, and that's the thing too, is we were talking about it with the trade stuff with the Giants on Hard Knocks, how they were talking about like the Saquon deal and everything else like that. The general manager was like, well, you got Danny making all this money. We can't pay a running back $12 million a year. We got to see what the kid can do. You know
I
what I'm saying?
mean
So we
that
gotta.
sounds silly because aren't the Eagles paying their quarterback? Actually, I don't know if he's on the last year of his deal, so it might not have kicked in yet. But Jalen Hurts has got a bigger deal than Danny Dimes, so um, I thought it was silly not to keep him. I don't think Dimes is good. I think he does. I don't know. I think he's top
Saquon
half.
made that offense go, man.
Yes, I agree.
But
Saquon, you need him.
but
I think
too, I mean, who was he throwing to the
yes.
last couple of
Danny
years? You know what
Danny
I'm
Dimes
saying?
might be like the only quarterback in the league, maybe Mac Jones, who has a claim to being like we have the worst wide receiver. Like the Bears were up there the last few years to say like we have the worst wide receiver core. Like you said, he was throwing to nobody.
Yeah,
Slayton,
Darius Slayton is probably
Darren
the biggest
Waller, like
name that
was
he, you know
okay
what I'm
for like
saying?
a season and a half. Like his wide receivers were god awful. And Saquon, as much as we all like him, we have to remember he's been hurt almost probably what 70% of his career, 60% of his career. He hasn't played most. He doesn't play most of the time. That year they made the playoffs, he played almost every game. But every year
Yeah,
before that, he missed almost every game. He got hurt against us one his rookie year, right, or something. Maybe the next year. I think it was year 2, week 2, missed the whole year. So yeah, I haven't watched any of the Hard Knocks off season 1. I don't really like the Giants. I usually don't watch Hard Knocks, but I'm obviously gonna be tuned in now.
oh
Because
yeah.
sometimes I feel it's a little too like even the Giants, the clips I've seen from the Giants one, it seems like they're like, oh, the camera's on us, do this. And I remember just like the old Jets one with Rex Ryan. I thought it was just more unique and more. Maybe he was putting on a show for the cameras, but he was just putting on a good show. So
Oh, he was definitely putting on a good job. If there's one thing Rex Ryan knows how to do, it's
yeah,
play for
that
the
was my favorite
cameras.
one. He was awesome. All right, but that's all for the Bears, I guess. We did get a little more Bulls movement. DeMar DeRozan sign and trade to my Sacramento Kings. The Bulls got like Chris Durante, a couple second round picks. Harrison Barnes ended up
Yeah,
somewhere
on
else.
San
San
Antonio.
Antonio. They're putting together a nice little veteran team. Um, and I think the Spurs might, with Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, Victor Wembanyama, they might be in contention for 7, 8, 9, 10 seeds, something like
Well,
that.
I mean, you got to add you got to add some veterans around that young kid. I mean,
Yeah,
and realistically, the moves that the Bulls are making right now is something that we talk about. Obviously, if they have Zach LaVine and Vooch, they're not gonna be a horrible team.
yeah,
But if you can move those two contracts and you can kind of tank for a year, you have an opportunity to go into the lottery for the number one overall pick to get Cooper Flag. And so far from what I've seen, the kid's pretty good. I mean, I'm not saying he's, we won't use the generational talent thing or whatever, but there's clips floating around on the internet, and I understand that it's practice at Team USA, so they're not going hard, like hard. They're not playing lockdown defense like you would in, an NBA playoff game or something, but he looked like a natural out
oh
there,
yeah, he can
just
ball.
very comfortable. And the kid's 17 years old, and he's some even in practices like that, you meet some of your idols and stuff like that. The spotlight's too big for you, too bright. He just looked like he belonged, and that's you can't
Yeah,
teach that in a young kid like that. You know what I'm saying?
the NBA is
That's
pretty
just something you're
rigged too,
born with.
so. if the Bulls suck, they might. The NBA likes it when Chicago's good, so they might pick the machine, the lottery
Yeah,
machine, and let them get the number one.
he's worthy of a number
That
one
being
overall.
said, I don't think Levine's going anywhere. I think they might be able to get off of Vooch. I think the Lakers really might want somebody like that,
Well,
just
the
for the
Pelicans too. The
Pelicans.
Pelicans, yeah,
I mean,
they
if the Pelicans want him, I would try and do something Levine and Vooch for Brandon Ingram, and then just say fuck it. I mean, he's a borderline superstar, um, um, and you just roll the dice that way. And but I like what they've done so far. The DeRozan deal was good to get something. He was going anyway. If people didn't know, he wasn't actually on the team. He was a
he was a free agent.
free agent. So the signing trade really was just to help Sacramento clear cap, and you know what I mean. The Bulls got 2 second-round picks for their troubles. Um, but it was a good move. Bulls are getting young. Patrick Williams will get one more season. They gave him a nice little deal, and he'll get his 32, 33 minutes a night. And it's looking like Levine is going to get his team back. He looked good before DeRozan came, and he was getting to shoot all the shots and do all that. And like you said, they'll probably be in tank mode, or I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, it's really not worth it tanking in the NBA as long as you know what I mean. If you want to be like one of the 7 or 8 worst teams, but um, we'll see how that goes. But I think DeMar is a great fit for the Kings. A good place for him to go. I didn't realize how much better he's been getting with age. He averaged his best years were on the Bulls. I didn't realize that. And it's like he was a pretty good player in Toronto. I guess maybe he just had some down years as a young player, so his averages are a little skewed. But he was averaging 25 points a game for the Bulls, and that's nothing to, you know what I mean? He was no slouch. Like those points just don't come. Like people just don't do that in the NBA. That's a lot of points per game. That's like maybe 5% of players in the NBA do that in their career, maybe even one season. He did it 2, 3 for the Bulls. Um, well, yeah, again, another uneventful week in Chicago sports. Training camps rolling around. Bulls free agency and all that died out. We're just sitting there. I mean, Blackhawks are pretty stagnant. Baseball's done. The Cubs are out of there. They sucked.
Yeah, they
The
fell
Sox
off.
are even worse. Possibly the worst, one of the worst teams in baseball history. This might be a 30 for 30, the fall off the Sox have had from just
Ah,
what two and a
God,
half
man.
years ago. We were like, we got a World Series window. Like,
Yeah, the rise and fall of Tim Anderson as well,
oh
being
yeah, that
designated for free agency from the Marlins. That's embarrassing. I
and he
mean, you
got
got knocked
ever
the
since
fuck out
yeah
on national television, and then all of a sudden you're
he
just,
got his black card taken that
oh
day, and he's never
God,
been
man,
able to recover.
it's been bad by a Dominican. You fucked around and found out, Tim Anderson. Like, but no, like you're talking, man. The White Sox are just they're god awful. You can't pay me to go to a Sox game right now. It's just it's sad to say, but I can sit here and say as a fan that I will not put money into a product that is that bad. There's no effort being made whatsoever on ownership's part. Why should I pour my money into bringing my family there to support a team that obviously doesn't support me in terms of putting a any kind of feasible product on that field. You
You know what
had
I really think they need to do is make Ozzy manager again. Loves the White Sox. You see him in these post game interviews, and
oh god, yeah, he
he
loves it.
jokes and he's goofy, but the guy knows baseball point blank, and he loves the White Sox. Like, and you need a little bit of passion. Baseball, like all these guys are good. Like the reason the White Sox are bad is because they're poorly coached. These guys are unmotivated. Their hitting coaches suck. Because it's not like we have awful players. These are like baseball's a rhythm thing. It's a you know what I mean. It's a team thing. You get into this little groove and you get rolling. But like I don't know, it's not fun to watch. At least in our younger years, Jerry would at least put together a serviceable team with a bunch of old ass Hall of Famers that were fun, you know what I mean would hit some home runs.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah,
on the last legs.
Tomei,
Jim
Manny
Tomei,
Ramirez,
fucking Jose Canseco was on the team at one
Adam
point. Like,
Dunn.
yeah,
We
like
got
it's
every
just
old fucking home run hitter fucking um but now we don't do anything like that and I don't know if he's just in coast mode and baseball never really made him a bunch of money so he's not wasting his time anymore.
Well, that's the
Maybe
thing is that he's a bigger Sox fan than he is, a Bulls fan. Like he's always been a baseball guy. You know what I'm saying? So
he did. Like I
that
said,
just
when we were younger, he made like they weren't always the best one, but it was like he was always trying. Like they're always trying.
I miss the days of Paul Konerko, Maglio Ordonez, Mark
Yeah.
Burley. Like you were saying, those teams were they were having fun. They
Yes.
were having fun. Now, I mean, Eloy is probably the biggest disappointment. Yoan Moncada. These guys were highly, highly touted
They were
prospects.
good too. Like
Yoan
they
Moncada was the number one prospect in baseball at one point.
and he was
You know what I'm
great one
saying?
for a little while, for a year or
Like
two. And it's like,
and then now Michael Kopech, another highly touted, fucking prospect, one that Peter Gammond or whoever, one of the baseball experts, one of the most respected baseball experts in all of baseball was like, this kid has the potential to win multiple Cy Youngs. What the fuck happened? Like it's just
coaching. It's like they got
it's
terrible coaching.
horrible.
And it's people who don't, you can tell, like you said, when you start off, they just don't care and they're putting out a bad product. And like I said, Ozzy is a goofball. He'll probably get fined. And he isn't the most analytical guy. And I know the fucking owners love that, but like, I don't know. I watch the post game interviews and I don't even watch the games. I honestly just see Ozzy on the screen. I'm like, I want to see what he fucking has to say because he shoots it from the hip. But I could just tell, like, man, he's like, I could do better than this. And it's like these guys are he wouldn't stand for the players playing with this lack of effort and the coaches coaching with this lack of effort. And it's like I don't know how they're still in business. I don't know if he really just wants to go to Nashville and but at this point put us out of our misery and get him over there then. Like,
It's embarrassing.
but all right, another short one. Um it's the summer. We suffered through, but we're trying to stay on our weekly pace. Soon Soon. Oh, well, I got some. We'll do some. I was thinking that we got a couple of our old segments we got to do. We got to do the Would You Rather. So we'll do that here soon. The Would You Rather, Caleb versus the field.
I'll
Um,
start making up some fact and cap shit again, and we can
yeah.
just flip those.
All right. But adios. Like, follow, subscribe. Thank you, and I will see you next week, buddy.